Welcome to episode 2 of the Nomad Things podcast, the real story of digital nomading as a family. In this episode, we'll share some amazing walks in Madeira you can do without a car.
So we've been in Madeira for a while now. We've done plenty of walks. We haven't felt the need to have a car. We've felt the need for glucosamine tablets.
Yes.
Especially those of us with old lady knees.
Me and Alfie.
Yes. I mean, I've been struggling with old lady knees, but not mine. Yeah. They're taking our philosophy of piano, slowly, a little bit too seriously. And 3-hour walks are turning into 5-hour walks, but
we're enjoying them. With lots of pit stops along the way.
Yes.
But no, it's been quite liberating not having a car. We've been able to enjoy a lot of awesome scenery along the way on bus journeys. And in fact, having to plan to go by bus has helped us cut down the number of walks. You know, there's so many walks to do here in Madeira. How do you choose? So by having to take the bus, it's made us had to go to certain ones, and they've all been amazing.
And sure, we've decided not to go over to where the buses would take 3 hours, so not the west and not the northwest, and
no one wants to spend 3 hours on a bus.
No one wants to spend 3 hours on a bus. But the fact is, that has limited our choices, as you say. That makes it easier to plan.
But it's not in a bad way.
Not in a bad way, but also where we've gone, because we don't have a car, the absolute major advantage, which is, I would say, is the big advantage, is you aren't anchored by that car. So we cannot go to as many walks, it's true, but when we get there, we don't have to turn around because we parked the car. We don't have to find the parking spots on the popular ones. We don't have to worry what's going to happen to the car. We can enjoy the scenery on the way there. But the main one is on the point-to-point walks. We start one end, we see everything anew, it's amazing. We drop down into some village somewhere, we'll stop for a bite to eat or a drink, and we don't have to go back.
Yeah, we've seen so many people turn around on the walks because they have to get back to their car that they've parked at the start. And we just wouldn't have wanted to do that, really.
No. When you get to the busy ones, like São Lourenço, that peninsula on the coast we were talking about, it's not much longer to go by bus. I didn't find that bus trip very interesting, except for when it goes past the airport.
Oh, yeah, you go under the runway, and that freaked Alfie out.
Yeah.
He didn't actually realise that's what happened when we landed.
Yeah.
So he's not looking forward to flying back out of Madeira.
Because the runway's on stilts.
Yeah.
Is the important part there. It's on stilts, massive concrete pillars. He didn't realise that. So we went alongside it on the bus.
Under it. And
you can just see the plane was coming into land. And did they land on that? Yes, we did, son. Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, so, yeah, to get out to the São Lourenço walk, PR8 is super easy once you figure out where the bus goes from.
Yeah, bus 113.
So, yeah, you get bus 113, and it drops you right where the walk starts.
Yeah.
So we went past lots of people trying to park their cars.
Yeah. Cars are all over the road, and people are a good 10-minute, 15-minute walk away. It doesn't save you much at all. And the same when you go to Cabo Girão, the viewpoint there. You catch the bus, and you have to have a look on the schedule for one that stops up there.
Yeah, most of the buses heading west along the south coast will go past. The slow ones will go past. Different numbers, but just make sure the one you are getting on stops at Cabo Girão.
Yeah, we got a number 8 from the Rodoeste bus stop down on the seafront. Once you know where it is, it's easy.
And it's got a good timetable on there actually with all the different number buses that go from there. And as Dawn said, we got number 8 going to Madalena de Mar. And that one stopped at Cabo Girão right there, heading up there.
And the benefit of not having a car there is everyone else we saw, they're on the view platform with the glass floor, big crowd, then they head to their cars, off they trundle for their tour buses, off they trundle for the next place they got to get to. And we had the most fantastic walk down.
Yeah, it was amazing look, and we got to end up down in Camaradores and have a nice lunch.
And a well-earned beer, which was more refreshing after the walk. But that walk was, you see parts you'll never see. People's allotments, the
totes gels.
Poisu.
All these amazing, perfectly straight furrows of volcanic, fertile-looking soil and in their luscious greens. Yeah, as I said, totes gels.
Yeah. And they're on these dry stone wall terraces that hug the hillside, and you get to poke around there. So we went down there. We didn't see anyone except that German couple coming up we mentioned before. And that's probably the most memorable part.
Yeah.
Especially because that was the only bit you had your eyes open. And it's the same everywhere.
It's a big day.
When we went up to Pico de Areeiro, the biggie.
We decided to do in the end, we went up for sunrise. We were still undecided if we were going to do the walk.
We went up on the bus, the special bus.
Oh yeah, there's a special bus. They say it's best to ring up and book a seat. So yeah, we got that bus up to see the sunrise, and again, it drops you right there. And we saw people fighting for parks. The queue just to get a parking ticket was insane.
Oh, it was 30, 40 people deep.
And then even when we were sat...
sorry. And it was dark.
Yeah, and it was still dark.
So none of them could see the pay machine. I think that was the biggest problem.
Yeah. And then when we were sat, we managed to find a nice little spot by ourselves because the bus gets there a lot earlier than most of the cars. So we found a nice spot to sit, and you could still see all the cars snaking up the road, up the mountain.
Oh, it's most dramatic before the actual sunrise, when the sun is still below the clouds, and all you see is this orange and purple bands in the sky.
Yeah, really intense.
Very intense.
Colours.
Stars, the moon, and the sky has a bluish tint, but everything is so dramatic, and the contrast is up.
And yeah, even once the sun had come up, there were still cars driving up. There are still people walking up.
Oh, sprinting by that point.
They must have got a park, and because there's an extra car park as well, I think, and you get a shuttle once the top car park's full. So they must have been down there. By the time they got up, they'd missed it.
And then after the sunrise, we looked down at the actual walk out to the stairway to heaven and all that. And you can only do 1.2 Ks because of the fires. You can't do the full walk. And we ummed and ahed, and we stood there and we said, well, we're here anyway. Who cares about €6? It's not the price, it's just... And it's definitely worth it. I mean, we'll talk about the actual walks later. But then we had the real benefit.
Instead of just jumping in a car and heading off to the next tick box. We walked down the Vereda de Burro.
Yeah, like donkeys, like the actors we are.
And we're only a couple 100 meters from the start point of the Areeiro walk, where it was rammed, totally crowded, and we were starting to walk down the hill, quiet as...
Oh, got the view of all those jagged peaks that you get, and you can hear the distant murmuring and hum of that crowd, and you see no one. It's the same at the Nuns Valley, same deal. The bus drops you at the viewpoint.
Areeiro de Furado. If you get the 81 bus out there, just check that it's going to stop at the viewpoint, because it has to go off the main road to go out there. It doesn't always. And then from there you can walk down, and it's the most amazing zigzag walk down to Cabo Girão in Nuns Valley.
And it is a genuine zigzag. When you look back, you just see this zigzag down this incredibly steep slope. It's Madeira. And every corner of that, I said at the time, didn't I? Like, every time I hit a corner on every zag, the view was just making me go, wow.
Yeah.
Even though it's the same view.
Yeah.
Wow.
And even the bus ride up there was amazing. Super steep drop down the side. I wouldn't want to be driving that.
No.
Quite happy to trust the bus drivers here. They do an awesome job.
And there's no way, again, we said no way either of us would be looking out the windows at the landscape with those roads. Literal sheer drops and chicanes and hairpin bends.
And then when we got down into the Nuns Valley, we walked on further, another couple of k's. A little bit further than we were meant to, just because of Google Maps steering us the wrong way. Don't use Google Maps. We recommend Mapy, MAPY .cz. It's a Czech map, and it's much better than Google Maps, especially if you put it on the outdoor thing. It shows you all the walks here. But anyway, so we walked an extra few k's and went and found some amazing spatata
And
for meat skewers.
And there, the bus back. We weren't expecting the bus, but there's a bus stop right outside. But again, that one only goes up there once a day. And if you look on some of these bus timetables, the appendices are 20 or 30 long, literally.
Lots of little letters and subscript that you have to check.
Yeah.
And also, the other fun thing about the bus timetable, some of them, they only tell you when the bus departs. Start point tells you nothing about any stop along the way.
Which is probably smart given the road conditions, but it does mean you don't know when the bus is coming.
Yeah, you have no idea what route the bus is taking or how long it might potentially take to get to where you are. But again, piano, doesn't matter.
And another advantage we found with not having a car is like at Riviera Frio when we did Dos Balcões and the Furado.
PRs 10 and 11. So that Levada de Furado is a one-way walk, and you can walk all the way out to a place called Portela, where there's an amazing Miradouro, a viewpoint, and you can get another bus from there back to Fajā.
And on the walk out there, we were, because we go piano, so some of the people that passed us were then passing us on the way back, and we weren't even halfway.
Yeah, they get to a certain point and they have to turn around to get back to their cars, and they missed a really spectacular section. That later end of the Levada walk was really, really cool with all the rock faces and the tunnels.
Yeah, walking through these sheer rock passages, all of that they miss because they've got to get back to the car.
And then another awesome bus ride was out to São Vicente out on the north coast. So we don't trust changing trains or buses terribly much. No. So we made the decision to get the earlier bus, the number 6. That is a slow bus, but you sit on it all the way to São Vicente. We could have got the number 7 bus to Ribeira Brava, which is the fast, goes on the motorway, so it gets to Ribeira Brava quickly, and then change to the slow number 6. But we got the slow number 6 the whole way.
For the views.
Yeah.
And there were impressive views.
Yeah, but it wibbles around all the little gullies along the coast. I think it took an hour.
An hour and a half.
Just to get around from Fajā to Ribeira Brava, and then in no time, boom, it was straight through.
Yeah. On the way back, we got the fast boats. And, what was an hour and a half on the way out was less than half an hour on the way back through the tunnel.
But that bus also passes through Encumeada.
Yeah.
At the top of the mountains there, where a lot of the other walks, some awesome walks go through, but most of those are closed at the moment.
Because of the forest fire.
But that's another handful of walks that you can reach that bus.
And that road over there is absolutely stunning. You go super high. There's the valleys are steep and narrow, and jagged peaks is amazing, which you will miss because the main road, which is where the fast bus goes, through the tunnels.
Through a tunnel.
Tunnels.
Yeah, right through the middle there. So you wouldn't see any of the dramatic views. We had some cloud, didn't we, with the sneaky peaks
Oh,
above. It was really, really beautiful, and would have been a shame to miss it.
So you get this on the bus, as we've said, you get the views on the way out, and you go on the slow route because buses have to link these remote villages. So you get to see a lot of the island you wouldn't think of doing by car. And it's interesting. It's not just the views, it's you get to see little villages and people hanging around, opening up bars, and the national pastime of old men standing outside competitively smoking.
Yeah. So that bus that we took to São Vicente, that was to do PR 16, Levada dos Fajā Rodrigues.
Yes.
Murdering that. But that's the only time we had to get a taxi to the trailhead.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? And so from São Vicente, and that cost €11.
Yeah.
So not too bad. And the taxi driver was nice, and he said, "Oh, are you planning to walk back down into town?" And we said yes. So he showed us the shortcut for us to walk back down. And when we got up to the car park for the walk, he was like, wasn't he? He was just disgusted by the number of cars there. I don't know whether it's because there's so many people, or because they're all hiring cars. He's not getting so much work.
I think it was genuinely the people, because on the reviews for that walk, if you look them up, it says, "Oh, it's good, ample parking. There's a big car parking space." And if you look on the map, it says no parking zone, and there were cars
Parked down the road.
This massive, plenty of car parking spaces was full. Then they were parked all the way down the road in the no parking zone, and then it's a 4-wheel drive track up to the mountain there, and they were even parking their little city cars halfway up there. So I think he was just blown away by the volume.
Yeah, but the other good thing about not having a car there was we then walked back down into São Vicente, and it was amazing. I remember that more than the actual Levada walk itself.
So
and you get views. There's that famous chapel, the Nossa Senhora, Our Lady, or whatever it is, just standing on its own on a hill. And all the way walking back down, we had these different views of that.
And just, it was little hamlets, just a few houses here and there with the allotments again, the beautiful furrows, and we're just poking around these, because everything's on such a steep slope, every tiny little road, every little alleyway has sheer walls either side. So you're kind of going through this labyrinth, going, "Oh, I don't know, is this way? Are we going the right way? I don't know. We'll find out." And you're poking around places you'd never seen,
and lots of really impressive gates. I love a good gate.
Keep riffraff like us out. And then we got into the town, and there was that stream running through it, and we're just finding our way into town, because you follow a map for so long, and then you just go, "I reckon it's this way." And then we took there's a shortcut, so you don't have to walk on the road. Oh, cool. Maps only show there's the curve going around there, and this is the straight line through the tangent. Oh, great. We've cut that out. Doesn't give you any idea of altitude. So we must have climbed in a K. We must have gone up 500 meters and down 500.
Probably my bad for not looking at the contour lines when I see it.
Nah. Lines and lines and lines. There's too many things on a map.
But no, definitely better to get out and explore and walk.
Yeah. And again, we dropped down into the historic part of São Vicente, and there was nobody there. It was a lovely little place, a little church, a little bar, and then we went for lunch down at the seafront, and it was packed, absolutely packed, because São Vicente is on the coast. But I prefer the town. I prefer that mountainside as we walked down. And I think that'd be the takeaway we would say. If you get a car, sure, you will be able to go to more places than we could get to by bus. But you won't be able to take advantage of the places you go to like we had.
Yeah, it's just really enjoy a place and not be so rushed and not have the burden of a car and thinking, "Oh, we've got to go and use the car and go places."
Well, that's the other thing we haven't talked about. If the car was parked there every day, just going, hello, hello. This is costing you €100, €100.
Yeah, you feel the need to actually be out in the car.
Especially if you're nomads like we are, you've got to get on with life. There's days where, we've got to work, we have to do schoolwork, we have to go shopping. You don't need the car. The car is a burden. Short term, if you're here for the 4 days like everyone is, sure, get a car. You don't have time to waste. But even if you're here for a week, only get a car for half of it.
Yeah, don't get it for the whole time. Do what you can by bus in a few days and then get a car for the last few days.
Hope you enjoyed that. We are Nomad Things and we'll be back next time with more about the actual walks themselves. In the meantime, if you like our content, hit the subscribe button, check out our blog at nomadthings.guide, and of course, follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
And we can safely say we didn't need a car.
No?